Alrighty, guys, we are officially live on the channel for this today's live stream that we do have, and this is what we will be talking about. Alrighty, we're just gonna get things just a few things ready here real quick, and then we will be ready. Now, probably won't get as much viewers because I mean all the other channels. Like Ryan Holleyall's got like 140,000 people watching right now. That's like absolutely absurd. I don't even know if he's had more than that before. That's like literally like one of the top most people watching a stream right now. That's how popular he is. All right. I didn't tell you guys this, but Reed Timmer just intercepted a massive tornado on stream. Sorry that I wasn't able to go live earlier. I had school earlier today, so it made it a little bit difficult for me to get my live stream ready. But we're ready for this stream, and the basic details today is a lot of the main weather stuff is already in the past now. A lot of that is set to the side now. So the main weather event is kind of past now, but we're transitioning from big time hail to more of that wind damage threat and embedded tornadoes. But there still are some supercells occurring right now that we are paying attention to. So okay. So this is our severe weather risk. We have an enhanced and a moderate risk of severe weather today. Wichita, Kansas City, and that moderate risk, but those areas have already kind of been impacted by this. And we do have a 5% significant threat and then a 10% significant tornado threat up here. And many risks for hail, and especially that big time wind damage threat that we do have for Kansas City, Columbia, St. Louis, up to Chicago areas that we do have with isolated tornadoes that are possible with these areas. And then we do have tornado watches in effect all the way from Oklahoma all the way up to Wisconsin. That's what we're talking about today. And the first thing we're going to talk about is we do have a metal scale discussion for the potential for big time tornadoes, as we have clusters of storms currently impacting portions of central Wisconsin at the moment. And we do have a tornado warning in effect here. If you are in a Marshfield, Arpin, you do need to get to your safe spots. We do have a tornado warning in effect in these regions. There's not too much rotation on radar, but I am definitely watching this. It's definitely not too organized of a storm, to be fair, but I am paying attention to it. We also have a tornado warning up here in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin, including, I mean, it's a little town that's being impacted by this, including White Lake, Langlade, and Four Corners areas. Oh, actually, there's a very strong couplet there near Langlade. So if you are in these areas, you do need to be heading to your safe spots. The inbound winds are definitely a lot stronger than the outbound, but this is our circulation right here that we are watching currently. One thing is there's a lot of rain ahead of this thing, so this is not that's definitely not going to help towards more of a tornado threat as this moves towards the north, as there's a lot of rain up here and a lot less instability up north, but so we could get a tornado out of that. And we're also watching this big time massive storm. One thing I did want to say, this is starting to congeal. We're starting to get more of those clusters of storms developing and now. And areas like Elkhorn, Janesville, Whitewater, 70 miles an hour winds and 1.5-inch hail. We do have a little bit of a hail core here just north of Janesville, probably producing some hail damage in these two areas right there. And this is already congealing into a line. It was more supercellular earlier, which would enhance that tornado threat, but is now really congealing a lot of clusters, which is what that transition that a lot of the models were saying was going to happen, to more of that wind damage and embedded tornado threat. But we still do have this storm, and there's actually 2.75-inch hail, they said. So this warning in Janesville and Beloit is actually destructive severe thunderstorm. That's why you see that in the pink areas due to that due to this big old hail core that we do have here. I know I don't have any storm chasers on my stream, but I haven't. Oh man, come on. But I don't have access to any storm chasers live streams. I bet I could put it on my live stream. I just don't. I'd rather ask for permission before doing it. All right, we're trying to get that back to normal there, but that is now back to normal. You said, what is hello country angel for life? Yeah. And hello Jeff Ralston. You say, what does Peoria, Illinois look like tonight? Okay, so let me look at Peoria, Illinois real quick. Peoria is right down here. We are in an enhanced risk of severe storms currently, and a tornado watch is in effect. As tornadoes are definitely possible, you are in a 5% significant risk for tornadoes and a 45 sig, very, very high wind risk for your area. This is kind of our line of storms right now over the border of Iowa and Illinois right now in your areas like Davenport and Burlington, and is heading towards your area. There is a storm kind of close, but that is heading in your general vicinity in the future. Now, it's still quite far away and got a ways to go, but it is producing very strong winds, 70 miles an hour, and isolated tornadoes. So if we look at some of the models, we're going to look at one of the model runs for Central Illinois to really get a look at what could happen. So for Peoria, this model already has that there's storms already impacting you, but you could definitely get hit in the next 2 hours or so, maybe around 8 p.m.-ish. Definitely could see some severe storms head your way there in Peoria. I hope that helps you there. So definitely be aware and have a plan to be prepared. We also have a tornado warning now in effect. Observed. This was observed. I believe it's two separate tornado warnings. One heading towards Janesville, and another isolated tornado warning here. Part of this little hook echo that we do have a lot of inflow moving to the storm. And this hook echo that we do have right here, and this is our tornado warning. That we do have. We do have a little bit of rotation. There's a lot of strong winds that you do see with that. So it is definitely rotating. Not too significantly, but we are watching it. So there's two different separate areas that we do have in this area. And that's definitely the most one I'm focusing on. So if you are in Janesville, if you're in Emerald Grove, Avalon, if you are driving on Interstate 14 here, this kind of starts kind of close to Janesville, then you should definitely be in your safe spots. The chasers are the ones driving there, not the normal humans that need to take shelter. You say appreciate it. Yeah, of course. But we also have a tornado warning. Wow, just Madison's getting hammered by storms. 60 miles an hour, severe thunderstorm warning for damaging winds. We do have some damaging winds moving through Madison. And then the northern side of Madison is actually under a tornado warning. So Sun Prairie, Cottage Grove, and Marshall, you do need to be heading to your safe spot, as a line of storms is bringing a tornado warning. This is right over the Lake Mendota right now. If we do see, we have some very, very strong winds with this. The rotation is not too strong, but it's broad, but I am definitely watching that potential. All right, sorry about that, guys. I'm back, but I've got dinner ready, so I'm going to have to leave the stream for just about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we will be back. This tornado warning up here in central Wisconsin is extended towards the Lakewood and Townsend areas. We do have a definite rotation cloud, but two different separate. Wow, we have two different rotation clouds from two different supercells. One thing I noticed is this is like looks kind of like a cold core supercell tornado setup. We've got these really weak supercells with rotation on them, with rain cooled air ahead of it. But look at that, two separate areas of rotation that we do have right here. If you are in those areas, I'm going to be taking shelter. We have an area of rotation in towards White Lake. Now, these are not tornado on the ground rotation, but this is just, you need to be watching. It's precautionary because there's potential for a tornado. So if you are in Lakewood, Langlade, White Lake, and Townsend areas, definitely be heading to your safe spot. The tornado warning is in effect. Now, for northern side of Madison, this is a very populated area under this tornado warning. Not too much rotation, but we are watching it. It's definitely starting to increase. There is a little bit of a bulge right there where you could see a tornado. If you're on Sun Prairie, Marshall, northern side of Madison, you do need to be taking shelter. The northern suburbs of Madison too, and Cottage Grove areas, and take shelter now. Back to the storm over here. That could easily be a tornado producer in the future. Definitely. Look at that. Oh yeah, we've got a decent couplet of rotation there. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a tornado on that in the future. I guess nothing's on the ground at the moment, but definitely a strong storm with a hook on it that could definitely produce a tornado. And as that low level jet increases, that could definitely enhance that tornado potential. But we do have 80 miles an hour winds in towards Davenport. Wow. And not just that, a tornado warning effect for Dixon and DeWitt areas in Iowa. In Davenport, 80 miles an hour winds are heading your way. This is enough to take shelter in the basement type of thing. This could destroy trees and damage homes. Very, very strong winds moving through those areas heading towards Davenport, so be careful there. Now we do have some more storms impacting Burlington, Fort Madison areas heading into Illinois and Monmouth and Macomb for 70 miles an hour winds in this massive storm. We have another severe thunderstorm warning impacting Toulon, Wyoming, and Knoxville areas in Illinois, bringing the potential for golf ball sized hail. Then we have this tornado warning also in effect here near Warsaw and Keokuk. We do have a little bit of rotation right down here. We're very far from the radar, so we're very high up in the air, so we can't get the best weather details, but there is some rotation with this supercell, and that is one to watch. And then we have this massive line of storms that is going to start to increase throughout the evening, bringing wind damage potential. Alrighty. And thanks for watching this stream for now. We have more storms in northern Oklahoma bringing wind damage, but I'm going to have to leave the stream for just a little bit, 15 minutes-ish. So definitely you can tune to a different stream for a bit, but I will be back in around 15 minutes. I just need to eat my dinner. Thank you guys for watching so far, and I will be back. You said your mother's in Des Moines. Yeah, this is not impacting Des Moines. There was a little bit of a few isolated storms heading towards Des Moines, but they're not severe or anything. So yeah, really, really nothing for Des Moines. Des Moines already had their severe weather threat, and that is done already. So, yep. Nothing really for Des Moines anymore. Alrighty. Okay. I thought I had, oops. Alrighty. So, my mic is a little loud, I think. I'm not sure. Alrighty. See you guys soon. Alrighty, guys, we are officially back. Sorry about the big delay, but we are back. So, alrighty. So we get back into this stream. We do have a moderate risk. I keep forgetting about that. They haven't actually updated the risk because most of the moderate risk areas are no longer in the threat. But look at this. Destructive. Look at this in Northern Oklahoma. Northern Oklahoma really didn't get too much of that tornado threat from this. These were mainly hail dominant storms up in Northern Oklahoma, but we did get we have destructive hail right now. We have 60 miles an hour winds, and observed baseball hail was observed by emergency management heading towards Blackwell and Tonkawa areas. So if you're in those areas in Northern Oklahoma, you do need to be in your cars indoors and stay indoors, as this is some massive hail. Look at those black. That's indicating a huge hail core in those areas. Wow, there. Big old hail. Big hail in those areas. Okay. And we do have more little tornado warnings. One thing I want to mention is a lot of it's just a lot of rain up here. Not as much of a squall line developed. We may see the squall line more developed, but a lot of this moderate risk or wind damage area over here is struggling to really support really well. But let's get this middle scale discussion and see what they say. Damaging wind gusts will increase. They did say that damaging winds will increase across the small scale discussion area. Let's see, this is just a cluster of rain, and it is moving more towards the north, so this will probably be moving north a little bit too. So we'll be watching that. We do have tornado warnings in effect for Osceola. This was supposed to have a bigger tornado threat. It did have a really strong area rotation. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing touched down for a minute, but that kind of lifted there. We do still have this rotation couplet here near Osceola, heading over north, probably towards Warsaw in the future, but it is definitely a weekend. This was a very strong supercell. It is weakened significantly, but it still does have some rotation. So if you're in Osceola, Lowry City, sorry about that, then definitely be taking shelter. So how are we looking in Skiatook? What's up, Weston? So for Skiatook, there is a tornado watch in effect for Skiatook, and Skiatook is in a 30% significant chance for wind damage and an isolated tornado threat. There is some strong hailers, very strong hailers in these areas right now, moving towards the east. And let's take a look at the miles real quick and see what they're supporting. So this is near the Tulsa region. Okay. So we're gonna find this real quick in Oklahoma. Okay, so Oklahoma, so Tulsa, this is showing that this line of storms is definitely pretty strong right now. It does show it weakens out a little bit before it gets to you. That's what these cells are gonna do. They're gonna weaken a little bit as they head towards the east, but they will become more congealed to a line and bring some strong winds that we will have with this, is what this is showing. That we could see some strong wind gusts move through your area with this around 9 to 10 p.m. potentially up there. I could have just looked at the models on weather-wise, but yeah, it definitely shows this pretty strong line impacting you. So it's mostly really, really big hail right now, and I think that's going to shift a little bit towards. You might get a tornado watch extended into your area. We'll see how much this line strengthens. And I'll say this line is going to strengthen a lot. So if it does, then that's what we'll be watching. But more just turns into a damaging wind threat and embedded tornadoes within the line. Of course, man. Hoping for a tornado warning. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. But one thing I do want to mention is Northern Oklahoma did not really meet the expectations. It did for hail. Big old hail. Look up here. Big old hail. But tornado-wise, really not much at all in Oklahoma today. More north. Well, we will see for you, though. All right, tornado warning expanded now. If you are in Warsaw areas, Interstate 60 or Highway 65 here in Missouri, and Missouri Highway 7 heading towards Climax Springs and Warsaw, then you do need to be in your safe spot. This includes Harry S. Truman Reservoir. As we do have a supercell that is heading towards your area, bringing in the potential for big time hail damage and potentially a tornado with this. So this is our rotation. It's definitely pretty broad. It's broad. It's a broad area of rotation, but it is heading towards the north, and it could strengthen. If it tightens up more, then we could see a tornado out of this. So this is what we are watching as it heads towards the north. So if you're on Warsaw, make sure you are entering your safe spot. What did you say? So you said it shouldn't have gone moderate, to be honest. Yeah, I agree with you there. For hail damage, I guess it definitely verified. The moderate risk for hail definitely verified a little bit, but in these areas, I guess the moderate risk for wind damage didn't verify too much. I don't know if you mean tornado for tornadoes, or do you mean for wind? But for wind, these areas didn't verify as much. To be honest, to be completely honest with you, I was surprised. I thought these areas would be more a 15% SIG for tornadoes. I thought we would get a moderate risk for tornadoes. I think a moderate risk for tornadoes would have verified a little bit there, but that's not too bad of an outlook, to be honest. It does seem like, I mean, if you really think about it, a moderate risk definitely would verify in a lot of these areas, especially up on the northern mode a little bit more and keep the enhanced down here. But it looks a lot more significant because it's such a broad event. I mean, so many areas being impacted by this with tornado warnings, but this is definitely a significant event. I mean, this thing's still continuing, just to think about that, guys. You said you're watching that storm near Fairview that's towards you. Might be a higher tornado risk being on the south end of the line. Yeah, we'll see about that. I mean, these storms are definitely still very far away, so they'll take time, but we'll be watching it. We'll be watching them. We'll see. They'll change a lot by the time they reach you, and we'll see what they'll do. One thing I will say is that this event's been really crazy how much this weather has just been so changing. I mean, sorry, it's hard to explain, but like, I don't know, a lot of these storms really have just changed a lot. I mean, look, there were supercells that formed near St. Louis that were not forecasted on the models at all. The models did a decent job. They didn't do a terrible job. I guess it was actually more discreet than what it was showing. But some areas got storms formed in areas that weren't expected at that time. Hey, you're gonna tune back in a little. See you later. Yep, see you later, man. Sounds good. Alrighty, so now if we go to this tornado warning in effect, we do have a tornado warning in effect here towards Augusta, Basco areas. This is definitely a very clustered storm. We could see a tornado warning out of this. Man, this is so far from the radar, so I can't really get much radar data, but if you're on those areas, Basco and Augusta, Illinois, then take shelter. A lot of storms impacting many of these regions. So this big old storm impacting these areas with 2-inch hail and 60 miles an hour wind gusts in this massive cluster. They do a tornado warning in effect for Watertown. If you're on those areas, take shelter. Oh yeah, that's definitely. I would be surprised if this could produce a tornado now. This isn't the most picture perfect looking storm. This is in the middle of a lot of rain clutteredness. So it does produce a tornado. It probably won't be a massive tornado, but it's a very tight couplet. Look how tight that thing is. So I wouldn't be surprised if that produces a tornado. So if you're on Waterloo, get to your safe spot immediately. This is a very tight rotation couplet moving towards you. So Waterloo, Watertown, and Kleiman. Make sure you are getting to your safe spot. Oh my gosh. Oh, I thought that was a tornado warning. Flash flood warning. News for thunderstorm warning in effect here, heading towards Quincy in the future. Pomeroy, Stoutsville, Monroe City, Shelbyville under the severe thunderstorm warning for 60 miles an hour wind gusts, 1-inch hail, and a tornado possible. Lost that cluster of storms in northern Missouri. Due to another severe thunderstorm warning in this huge cluster of rain, with 60 miles an hour winds potentially with us heading towards Fayette and Moberly. News for thunderstorm warning in effect if you're in El Dorado Springs, Nevada, and Walker areas in Missouri. You do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for 1-inch hail and 60 miles an hour winds, especially the wind threat with this 60 miles an hour winds as it heads towards the south. New tornado warning in effect if you're in Galesburg and Knoxville and Williamsfield. Make sure you are heading to your safe spot. We have a rotation couplet with this, especially in these regions. So if you are, as it heads towards the east, make sure you are getting to your safe spot there. As it says, a line of storms that could produce embedded tornadoes in that area. Alrighty. Warning still in effect for Augusta and Bowen. Make sure you're getting to your safe spot there. 1-inch hail and a tornado warning. News without some warning for LaGrange, Ursa, and Mendon. If you're on those areas, we did visit without some warning for 70 miles an hour winds ahead of this. Big time wind gusts. And also a tornado warning in effect for low rain in Lima and Marceline areas. We have an area of rotation that could produce a tornado in the future. So take shelter there. Alrighty. One thing I would admit is the line of storms definitely looks like a lot more organized over here up north than it does down here, where the winds were expected to be a lot worse over here. Just look at this real quick. The strong winds, there was a 45 sig. There it is the same way up there. So, but it was actually a double sig for wind, for significant wind over here. And to be honest with you, it's not verified very well because a lot of this is rain, like just clutter of rain just sitting in these regions. But that could change in the future as this line of storms start to develop a little more. I will watch the weather data for my area in St. Louis in the future. Let's see what the thermals look like right now. Not too bad on the instability, definitely dropping. A lot more. That is one thing. The instability is a lot more further north. That could be a factor of why the storms are a lot stronger over there than down here. As we've got a lot of rain, a lot less of that wrinkle there, and a lot more instability. Those tornado parameter be strong. All right. Tornado warning continues for Warsaw. If you're in Warsaw areas, and make sure you're getting to your safe spot. The rotation is definitely weakened significantly, but is still in heading towards Warsaw. So take shelter there. Another line of storms after that storm impacting Osceola. The line of storms producing 60 miles an hour winds heading that way. Now we know of a new tornado warning from this supercell. Wow. New tornado warning. This is observed. So we have a tornado on the ground from the southern side of the supercell heading towards Elkhorn. If you're on Elkhorn, Spring Prairie, and Springfield, in Wisconsin, you do need to get to your safe spot and take shelter. And now, as there is a tornado warning in effect. All right. Ready. New severe thunderstorm warning here heading towards Moberly, Huntsville, and Macon, Fayette, and Missouri. A lot of severe thunderstorm warnings up here, all the way up to Rockford, Princeton, Dixon areas. We do this tornado warning continuing for Galesburg and Knoxville on Interstate 74 near Galesburg, where a tornado is possible. Rotation is not too significant, but they did issue that tornado warning as it's a little bit stronger, and we can get embedded tornadoes within the line. We watch this storm continuing Elkhorn. If you're on Elkhorn and Delavon, do this tornado warning in effect. So make sure you are getting to your safe spot with that hook echo. This is heading actually a little bit north. So if you're on Elkhorn, Spring Prairie, maybe even Troy, East Troy in the future, this is a pretty strong storm heading towards Elkhorn that could be producing a tornado here. That is not good. Oh, hello, Electric Tornado Storms. Thanks for tuning into the stream. Newly extended severe thunderstorm warning heading towards Burbank, Fairfax, Fiddler, and Cow City, and Red Rock, and Ponca City, especially in the future. This is more congealing into a line of storms, producing pretty big hail, up to ping pong ball sized, and 60 miles an hour winds as it heads towards the east. So if you're on these yellow polygon or this orange-ish, yellowish polygon, that means there's severe thunderstorm warning, so you do need to be getting indoors and make sure your cars are indoors. There could be some hail with this and some strong winds, so stay away from windows too in that area. Severe thunderstorm warning for Fairview, Canton, 1.5 inch hail. Still a big line of storms with a tornado warning for Basco and Augusta areas. Very, very far from the radar zone with this one, but we can definitely tell a little bit of rotation there. Take shelter there, but we really can't see much because far from the radar site. But definitely a lot of this line is really, really strengthening up here more. And I'm ready to see. I wonder if these storms up here will start to strengthen more in the future. More congeal. Let's look at the models. HBR 23Z just now starting up there, so not really that strong. What am I saying? The HBR is just now starting up, so we'll look at it soon. Sorry, I'm tired. Tornado warning continuing for Watertown. I bet that'll be allowed to expire. It did have a pretty strong rotation couplet on it, but the storm is encompassed by a lot of rain cool there, and yeah, they lift that because this is a very, very weak storm now. It was, if it proves tornado was very weak and brief, it couldn't have lasted for too long. But it did definitely have a strong rotation couplet on a few scans there. Continuation of this tornado warning. So tornado warning still in effect for Elkhorn, Spring Prairie, maybe in Bell's Corner and East Troy in the future here. The rotation is definitely weakened. I don't think this thing's on the ground anymore, but it could change as it is a pretty strong supercell. This is what Brandon Kopic's feed looks like. Pretty strong supercell there. Pretty big hail with this storm too. All right. Let's look back at this tornado warning here. Okay, so the rotation's almost completely gone. This thing's really starting to weaken out. Attending a lot of this rain cooled air, a lot of this rain ahead of this really takes out a lot of that instability. So this thing will probably, this tornado warning, and the storm itself, the supercell is really weakening. So this tornado warning is probably going to be allowed to expire. If you're in this town of Warsaw, you probably get out of your safe spot. There still is a little rotation here with this thing, but I could be proved wrong. So just stay in your safe spot till this tornado warning lifts, but I think it will soon. Tornado warning now in effect observed on the ground. So we have a tornado on the ground. Wow, this is not good. Yep, tornado warning to your northeast. In fact, that is true. If we look at the timing on this thing, it's sounding pretty close to you in the future. So I'm definitely watching the cell. Yeah, the lake. So yeah, this, if that's in your area, then you're definitely this thing could head towards you in the future. Especially it could expand too down here. We'll see if we get more expansion of storms towards your area. But we do this tornado warning observed. This is on the ground, guys. Confirmed tornado by broadcast media. Ponca City, the town of Ponca City is in this tornado warning, guys. So we have a tornado on the ground heading towards the pretty big town of Ponca City, McFadden Cove, and Caw City. If you are in those areas, take shelter now. I don't know why this tornado warning, why they issued it by the county sign. If they could just extend it like this, like include this part of this county in that too. That's really weird. But look at this rotation. Yeah, that definitely, I can tell that was on the ground, right through the town. Definitely weak, brief tornado looks like to me. We're not in the best radar area, so I can't tell anything debris-wise, but this probably could be causing a little bit of damage here in this pretty populated area. Luckily, it doesn't look like it's too strong of a tornado, but really take shelter now. Take over Osage County. National Weather Service Norman issued that. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Tulsa split the extension. Okay, that makes sense. So this area is owned by Norman, and this is owned by Tulsa. Makes sense. Yeah, I'm definitely noticing that's that area of rotation there. Go back to the storm over here near Elkhorn. Weakening a lot. I don't think this is on the ground anymore. It's weakening a lot. One thing I did notice is most of these supercells are gone. The tornado threat has definitely decreased a lot. What I am thinking is a low jet will increase throughout the night, so we could see a lot of embedded tornadoes starting up in these areas. But that really big, strong NATO risk is mostly over now. Not saying things could change, but for now. Strengthening storm here near Fairview still. A lot of hail. Go back to Ponca City. Give me a second, guys. I will be back in a minute. I need to use the restroom. All right, we're back, guys. Sorry about that. Sorry, that took a way longer break than expected. But wow, this storm is really getting a lot stronger here to the north. Look at this. We have a big time supercell here. If you're on Burbank and Caw City and Webb City, take shelter now. Very strong winds on the southern side of this, as you are noticing. Look at these velocity winds. We are seeing nearly 80 miles an hour winds on that side of this, ahead of this storm. And then this is our hail core right here. This is a supercell. This is our hail core. And these are the strong winds to the south of it, a part of this line of storms here. And then we do have a little bit of inflow moving into this thing. And this is our hook echo right here. This is our hook. See that little hook? This little notch right here, that is where, if we do see a tornado, it'll be right there. We do have a chaser on this. Let's look at that. If you're in Burbank, Webb City, this is the red polygon, means a tornado warning. We have a little bit of rotation. We're quite far from the radar right now. We're not in a very, very good radar area currently, but yeah, let's see. All right, he doesn't have the angle. He's got the angle ahead of the storm, so he's probably positioning himself. He's trying to get out ahead of this thing because it is moving pretty fast. Yeah, we'll go back to that. Now, if we get back over to these storms, so one thing I did want to say with Missouri, we have a pretty big line of storms over here, but everything down here is really struggling to really strengthen. We've got a lot of this rain and not really any storms. A lot of this rain is really preventing any storms from developing, but we are watching these storms out ahead of this thing this thing is lifting further towards the northeast, and we could have these storms push this way in the future. So if we do look at this, we do have two tornado warnings, multiple tornado warnings, same area that got a supercell earlier. So Warsaw, Lincoln, all the way down, Harry, and a part of the Harry S. Truman Reservoir. So this does include Missouri Highway 65, Missouri Highway 7, and a few other roads in this area. Cole Camp, Lincoln, Warsaw are all under this tornado warning that is in effect. There's a lot of different red polygons in here. They forgot to expire one of the ones over here, but this is basically what this means here is straight line damaging winds. It's a big line of storms, not anything hugely producing of massive tornadoes, but embedded tornadoes within this line of storms. And this is definitely a pretty telltale sign of that. We've got some very, very strong winds that I want to mention with this thing. Look at this. These little yellows, these pinks into yellows on velocities and the inbound winds. That, or the outbound winds, that kind of detects right there some very, very strong gusts. And that could create some spin there. So if we are watching these areas, there's not too much rotation, but we are watching these areas for tornado potential. And this does have a little bit of a supercellularness to it. I am noticing that. So we could see a tornado out of this in the future. So we are going to watch that if it organizes more. But some very, very strong winds with this thing. Let's look at the velocities. Yeah, we're seeing nearly 70 miles an hour gusts with this. So make sure you are getting indoors and in the basement, because not just could you see a tornado, but there's also going to be some very, very strong wind gusts with this. That you're ready to take tornado precautions, but it's not likely. Yeah. So for these storms right here, this is the only area that has tornado potential. This area over here, probably not. It's a lot less strong here, but we are seeing like I said earlier, we're seeing more convection starting to pop up. If this strengthens, then your area could definitely get more into the action of this storms in the future. You're on the southern side of this, but this tornado warning up here is probably heading more towards the north of your area more. But we will be watching this in the future. If these storms start to strengthen. That storm down in Fairview is a little bit far away from you right now. We do have this tornado warning still continuing here in Schindler and Webb City and Burbank areas. Wow, that is really, really strengthening on radar. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a tornado on the ground here. Wow. Very, very, one thing I want to say, very, very big hail. We're probably seeing golf ball sized hail currently in Caw City. Look at those blacks. That does indicate very, very strong hail core on radar. So Caw City is probably getting impacted by some big old hail. In the middle of this is our hook. This is our supercell right here, and this is our hook. It's really starting to really tighten up. This is a very high precipitation supercell. But if we look at the rotation, look at that. Very, very strong couplet on rotation. That indicates a pretty strong couplet, potentially a tornado with it. It could be a little bit more. This could be contaminated because we are pretty far from this radar in Tulsa. We are pretty far from it, so we're seeing a lot higher up in the air, so it could be contaminated. But if we let's look at different tilts. Let's look higher up into the atmosphere and see if this is contaminated or not. Okay. That's definitely not contaminated. This is a very strong rotation couplet. Not contaminated at all there, but very, very high precipitation with a lot of hail with this thing. But this thing could easily produce a tornado in the future. They'll probably be wrapped in rain because it's so high precipitation. I'm watching this guy's stream currently. I'll have that up there as we are watching this. That these storms miss me to my northwest. You said this favorite storm is, yeah, it does. It does have a lot to work with, but that is very far out. So I would be watching for new development over here too with this line of storms. We'll be watching your area. Now we do have this severe thunderstorm near Fairview. O'Keene and Ames is under a destructive. See that pink? That means a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. That is in effect for O'Keene and Ames. This is for hail damage. And this does have a tornado possible on it too. I am noticing a little bit of rotation near O'Keene, but it's very weak. But look at that big old hail core north of O'Keene. This is going to really damage. This is baseball-sized hail, guys. Baseball-sized hail. This is baseballs falling from the sky. Imagine that. Make sure you are indoors. That would hurt terribly. And your car is probably going to get damaged a lot. You could even have siding of your home getting damaged from this big old massive hail. That's our hail core right there, showing this is big old hail. We're not a very populated area, but we do have some towns, including O'Keene, Lindley, and Ames areas in Oklahoma. With that a little bit closer to you. Yeah, it is definitely heading towards your north, though. But this area down here could definitely impact you in the future that we are watching for straight line winds and the isolated tornadoes. But definitely more towards your north, so you'll probably be okay there. So Pawhuska, and this is now entering not a very populated area here. We're in a preserve, so more of a nature preserve area over here with a lot less towns, but we have a decently big town of Pawhuska that this could impact in the future. So Burbank, Pawhuska, you now have a tornado warning. If you're in this area, you do need to be taking shelter. This is a large storm, very, very large hail with this thing, and the velocities are huge. Now what I'm seeing is it's not a very tight couplet, but if this thing could tighten up, this thing could produce a big tornado in the future. So I am definitely watching this right now. The rotation is a little bit broad, a little bit big. So if it tightens up more, then we'll watch it, but it's definitely strong. So we're watching this, and look at this guy's stream. This is a big old storm here, guys. Look how big this storm is. You can see this is a big-time supercell on this thing. Big old supercell. Can't really hear any audio through this guy's stream, but he's showing this is a big time storm. Look at that. Big old supercell. Probably wrapped in rain, too. You won't be able to see any tornado if there is one. Now let's go back to these storms up here. We've got big time storms approaching Milwaukee areas as we do have a big time line of storms currently in southern Wisconsin. Burlington and Lyons are now under a tornado warning. We do have a few couplets of rotation here. One a part of this little hook. This is a really weird storm. Look at this little hook that's wrapping down here. That is the funkiest looking storm I've seen. We've got a little bit of rotation with it. It's not a very strong system, but look at this. We've got a very tight area of rotation here heading towards Honey Lake that could produce a tornado in the future. So if you're on Honey Lake, Waterford, Burlington areas, make sure you are in your safe spot in southern Wisconsin. Areas like the coastal areas of Lake Michigan, South Milwaukee, Racine, and Kenosha are now under a severe thunderstorm warning for 60 miles an hour winds ahead of this big cluster of severe storms that we do have. Look at this thing. Big old strong winds ahead of this thing. So 60 miles an hour winds with this and embedded tornadoes within the line with these storms. And now we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for the city of Milwaukee as this storm up here is approaching, and a tornado warning for Waukesha as we do have a tad bit of rotation, but some very strong winds ahead of this thing, as you can see on the outbound winds. Hello, Police Miles. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Now, Poplar Grove areas and Capron areas are now under a tornado warning. If you are in these areas, we do have a little bit of rotation, not much, but we are watching that. These storms could approach the Chicago areas in the future, as some warnings are now being extended towards Sycamore, DeKalb, and Woodstock regions in northern Illinois. 70 miles an hour wind gusts. You said, can you be a mod? Well, I don't really mod. I know the people in this stream are modded, but I don't mod too many people unless they're they've been watching my streams for a long time, or they're on my streams for a while, and this is the first time you joined, so I can't mod you yet, but maybe in the future. Yeah, I don't mod too many people. I mean, I don't really need a moderator to really control the streams or the chats that much, to be honest. Um, I don't have that much viewers to where I need someone else to control it for me, but yeah, maybe in the future. Still a tournament winning effect for Burlington. That rotation did definitely weaken a bit, but we were watching another area of rotation down near Elkhorn. Yeah, of course, man. Further this morning in effect. Wow, this is a very northern Wisconsin, Eagle River, St. Germain. A little bit of severe thunderstorm warning here. It is now allowed to expire, actually. So that storm is weakened. Okay. A lot of warnings up here in central Illinois, part of the squall line. Macomb areas are now under a tornado warning for pretty strong. What am I saying? It's getting late. A little big time line of storms here. Look at this. We're seeing a bow echo ahead of this thing. This is what I like to call this is what's called a bow echo as it's released. And typically this is accompanied with very strong wind gusts. Look at that. Yep, exactly what I said. Very strong wind gusts. Look, we're seeing 80 miles an hour wind gusts. It says 70 miles an hour in the warning, but I wouldn't be surprised if this gets extended to a destructive warning. So if you are in Havana, Rushville, Astoria, and Browning areas, you are going to be impacted by some very strong winds. On the northern side of this, we could see a tornado. Too, if you're in Macomb, Colchester, and Industry, make sure you're getting to your safe spots. Toulon and Wyoming areas in Illinois are now under tornado warning. Part of this line of storms here producing very strong wind gusts too, with the 70 miles an hour wind gusts ahead of this line. It is actually observed too. With 70 miles an hour wind gusts, and an isolated brief tornado could be possible. Now, this is a precautionary tornado threat because there's no tornado on the ground, but these QLCS lines of storms could produce isolated spin-ups tornadoes with this thing. So we are watching that in Toulon. Now, Springfield, Illinois could be impacted by pretty big storms in the future as this line of storms will be heading down south. Hannibal, Mount Sterling, and Rushville are now going to be impacted by 70 miles an hour wind gusts, very strong winds out of this line of storms, and maybe even brief tornadoes in the future. So if you are on this polygon for severe thunderstorm warning, make sure you are getting indoors. Still, these storm warnings continuing for Warsaw and the Lincoln areas. Very strong winds with this and the potential for a tornado in the future. Very strong winds moving through Warsaw is one thing I wanted to say. Very strong gusts moving through there. So that is definitely a concern and tornado threat. Alrighty, we're gonna go back down to these storms here. We do have a tornado warning in effect still for Schindler, Burbank, and Pawhuska areas. The rotation has weakened significantly with this. They did say it was on the ground earlier, but it's now no longer on the ground. And this tornado warning is now weakened a lot. As you do see, there's a lot less inflow. This is looking a lot less supercellular, more just congealed into a line. So that tornado warning will probably be expired soon. They may actually keep it up because of embedded tornado potential, especially with some very strong gusts that we have in Burbank that we are watching. You said National Service Norman says Fairview storm tornado potential. Yeah, it's definitely possible. Not too much rotation right now, so that could change in the future. So not really much of a tornado producer right now, but that could change in the future. Right now, just a really big hailer in Ames and O'Keene. You do have some storms behind it too, near Camargo and Sealing and Leedy too, that have developed with some large hail. New severe thunderstorm morning, heading towards Versailles, Village of Four Seasons, and Osage Beach, and Eldon and Tuscumbia areas. For a tornado possible with 60 miles an hour wind gusts, these areas could see a tornado warning in the future for embedded tornadoes. 1 second, guys. I did wanna look at the H bar real quick. We'll be seeing 0, 0, Z and H bar in the future, but let's see what it shows. So it does say that the squall line kind of more advances and congeals together once we get around the 10 p.m. hours, and it does show it strengthening a little bit more than what it was showing earlier in St. Louis. Um, Definitely some strong wind gust potential there. We are watching that. Maybe even embedded tornadoes with this thing too. So we got to be careful and be watching that there. Let's look at some of the parameters right now. Yeah, we definitely have a lot. Let's see what it looks like compared to what the HBR had. So 1,000 instability in St. Louis. See, it's a little bit under that, a little bit less. But by 8 p.m. it was decreasing a lot further and increasing a lot further to north. So this is kind of right on board with what the HRR model is showing instability wise. That makes sense there. A lot of shear though, and we do have a little bit of tornado parameters, especially in northern Missouri. I am definitely watching this area up here for tornado potential in the future. We do have a pretty high tornado parameters. Yeah, I'm watching that. One thing to say for St. Louis is a lot of rain ahead of these storms. That could decrease the severe weather threat a little bit. But if that rain pushes further north and we get these storms advancing, this could be a pretty big threat in the future. Tornado winning still in effect for Pawhuska, Schindler areas. This rotation is strengthening a little bit. I am watching that. It's a little broad, but it is strengthening a little bit as it heads through Oklahoma Highway 60. Watching on a stream. This thing's not on the ground, but definitely has some rotation. It's a pretty strong storm. New extension to the severe thunderstorm warning here of over pretty close to Enid, the south of Enid. Marshall, Hennessy, Wacomas, Douglas, and Covington are all going to be impacted by this in the future. 2.5-inch hail now, so they did decrease that hail threat a little bit, but tennis ball sized hail still with this. Tennis balls is pretty big hail, just under baseball sized. And this is a pretty strong supercell. We'll be watching for tornado potential in the future. Really not much rotation though on radar right now. So we'll see if that changes soon, but definitely watch in the future. And remember, Oklahoma is a state that always gets those rain, just nighttime tornadoes out of nowhere. New tornado warning extended down to Canton, Lewistown, Smithfield, and Cuba areas in central Illinois for a tornado potential. Radar indicated here. Definitely do have a little bit of rotation, very broad, which is typical with a line of storms like this. With that big old bow echo there, probably produces up to 80 miles an hour gusts. On the northern side of it, we could see a tornado. So Lewistown, Canton, St. David, be ready for very strong winds and a potential tornado. New extended the warning towards Virginia, Beardstown, Astoria, Bluff Springs, Pittsfield, Barry, New Canton, Louisiana, and Missouri and Illinois. We now have a tornado warning in effect for Wyoming and Bradford. They may or may not extend it. It's definitely it's got that potential for a tornado. A few kinks in the line there that could produce a tornado that we are watching. So we are watching that. But not too much rotation right now. Let's go up to here where we could be seeing a QLCS tornado spam. Whoa, I don't know what that just happened there. That was weird. But big time storms heading in towards the southern portions of Wisconsin, just south of Milwaukee. Milwaukee's going to get some strong winds. And I am watching tornado potential on the southern suburbs of Milwaukee, too. A lot of tornado warnings we've been having. And if you look at this big old line of storms, a little bit of a hook, a little bit of supercell kind of embedded in this line here that could produce a tornado. So we are watching that. Wow, that is a strengthening rotation. Look how tight that rotation couplet is. That is so tight of a rotation couplet. And then this hook, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing could produce a tornado. It probably would be a smaller one, but we're watching that. Take shelter there. I don't know why it keeps putting me back to the radar. That's a little bit of a glitch. If you are in... I can't even see what the town name is. Harvard. Harvard. Not the college, but if you're in Harvard, Northern Illinois, then Harvard, Heartland, and Wonder Lake, you are under a tornado warning. We do have a chaser on this. Let's look at this. Jaden Pappenheim. He is watching this storm. He doesn't have much on his feed, but look at this. We do have some tornado potential here, embedded tornado potential with these storms that we are watching. And look at this. Burlington, same area, just keeps getting slammed by tornado warnings. Burlington, Lyon, Spring Prairie under a tornado warning currently. Not too much rotation on it, typical with a line of storms, but we do have a lot of rotation. It's not like very strong couplets noticeable for a tornado, but these whole areas could get embedded tornadoes. They just spawn out of nowhere, quick spin ups. That's why they do have issued tornado warnings with this. Maybe even a tornado warning extended up here too. And some strong straight line winds. Let's look back at this storm real quick. Nothing showing a tornado on the ground right now, but some pretty strong rotation here heading towards Wind Lake and Muskego. Man, it keeps putting me on this one. I don't know. I'm going to refresh my weather-wise. That is really weird. All right. Oh, news with some warning extension. This is now getting pretty close to Weston's area. Just to the north, though. But 70 miles an hour wind gusts, 1.5-inch hail. Damage threat considerable with this. So a lot of strong wind gusts heading towards these areas. In the future, and this is definitely on the southern side of that. The southern side of the storm, remember, we're watching that tornado potential on the northern side of this thing, but the southern side of this, we are watching for tornado potential. Let's see where this direction this is heading. So yeah, the more areas heading towards him are a little bit weaker, but that could strengthen in the future. But very, very strong winds on the southern side of this. This whole southern side of the warning, you get some very, very strong gusts. Look at that, very, very strong gusts there. That's on the velocities that you do see those blues, indicating up to 70 miles an hour gusts with this being indicated there. Let's go back to this tornado warning here. We do have this new tornado warning extension here. If you're on Versailles, Village of Four Seasons, parts of Lake of the Ozarks are now, and Bagnall and Eldon are now under a tornado warning. A part of this line, embedded line of storms, we could see some QLCS spin-ups that could produce a tornado with this. Nothing showing a tornado right now, but some very, very strong straight line winds to nose with this thing and some large hail with it too. We are watching. One thing I will say is I'm not sure if this will persist for a lot longer. It is heading in the general direction of St. Louis. Future. This big storm over here near Marshall and Wacomas is now still pretty strong near Hennessy too, in central portions of Oklahoma. We're watching that tornado threat, so it does look like a tornadic supercell, but it's not really much in the way of tornadic. Not too much rotation there, but we have a little bit of hail on the northern side of this. Definitely a hail course, so some big time hail with this thing. Tennis ball sized hail. If you're in that polygon, make sure you get your cars indoors. Indoors. New extension of this tornado warning. We got a new tornado warning. So in a different area, if you're in California, in Jefferson City, we now have a tornado warning now in effect. Part of this kind of supercell ahead of this line of storms almost that we are noticing. It does have that tornado potential. So if you're in those areas, definitely be taking shelter. All right, we're back, everybody. We're gonna stay on the stream for a pretty good amount of time. We've now been live for an hour and 45 minutes. Do a different time. I should definitely try to get someone else, like a friend or something, on my stream. Someone that does weather or something. I met at the summit. I should probably try some time to stream with. Oh man, my PC's lagging right now. That is lag. Goodness, I should probably not be operating WeatherWise on the website version of WeatherWise. I should probably be using the actual app. But if you look at my app on WeatherWise that I have, it's a lot like, it's not as set up very well. It's a lot faster, a lot easier. It's a lot faster. I will say that it's a lot faster and easier to operate, but it looks a lot weirder. It just doesn't look normal. Maybe if I use yaw mode. I guess we can use it with yaw mode. With yaw mode, it looks pretty good. And it's a lot smoother look. Yeah, we'll use it with yaw mode for a bit because it was a little slow in the other thing. All right. Still extending this tornado warning towards Versailles and Village of Four Seasons. So the Lake of the Ozarks are now continuing under a tornado warning. Lake Ozark under this embedded line of storms. Not too much rotation on this, but that could change in the future. We could see a tornado out of this and some very, very strong straight line winds heading towards the Lake of the Ozarks. If you're on the Lake of the Ozarks, make sure your boats are secured and make sure you're getting indoors. There are some very, very strong winds that are going to impact your area. Now, if you're in Jefferson City in California, Missouri, guys, not California. The town of California, Missouri, Jefferson City, Ashland areas in central Missouri. We have this little storm ahead of the line that we do have. Let's make this a little bit smaller here. Out ahead of this line here that we do have with this tornado warning now in effect for Jefferson City. Pretty decent sized hail that we do have with this one. I was surprised that there's actually some decent hail with these storms. But some decent hail in Jefferson City and Holt Summit that we do have, in a little bit of rotation that are not too strong, but we do have a little bit of rotation that I am watching. Still severe thunderstorm in effect for Pawhuska and Bartlettsville for 70 miles an hour wind gusts. Very, very strong winds there as this heads towards the south. Boom. I want to go back to this southern Wisconsin. Sorry, there's so much. The weather extends all the way from Oklahoma to Wisconsin. It's hard to talk about everything at once. There's like so much to talk about. But wow, big old tornado winning extension. So I'm glad they did this. When there's this line of QLCS tornadoes, this QLCS line of storms that produce straight line damaging winds, you know how it. Dang it, my thing's doing this again. It's when I raise my hand up, it's a gesture that makes my camera. Alrighty there. We gotta move this back to normal. There we go. Oh. Oh, still doesn't look good. A little bit up too high. Maybe I can raise my chair. Oh, nope. Well, that's better. That's better. Okay. So, with these QLCS line of storms, very, very strong straight line winds, and we get those QLCS spin tornadoes. They spawn out of nowhere. They come so quick, there's no time for you to even notice that the tornado is coming because it just spins up out of nowhere so quick and then lifts. That's why they issue a tornado warning for basically the whole entire area. A huge tornado warning because any of these areas could see a tornado. So if you're on Racine, Kenosha, this area's been getting hit by so many storms lately, man, in Wisconsin. Racine, Sturtevant, Somers, Kenosha areas in southern Wisconsin, south of Milwaukee. You are under a tornado warning with QLCS line to storms. Look, we've got a lot of really strong winds, 60 miles an hour winds ahead of this thing, and a lot of rotation too with this thing. So in the future, if you are in these areas, take shelter now as we could see a tornado in the future. Now, on the northern side of this, Sycamore, Algonquin, Woodstock areas are under the severe thunderstorm warning too that is in effect for these areas with 70 miles an hour winds that could impact Chicago in the future. Harvard under this tornado warning too. The Brandon Kopp extreme. Oh yeah, he's like, the storm's moving fast, so it's gonna be hard to try to get ahead of this line of storms, so it might be over for him for the night. And these storms are congealing into a line now, not as much. Remember, these aren't supercells producing massive tornadoes anymore. This is more congealing into a line with spin-up tornadoes, and it's switched to a big-time wind threat. If you're in Harvard, Wonder Lake, you are on a tornado warning for spin-up tornadoes possible. Take shelter now. Now. Urgent. Oh, new tornado warning! You're in Esmond, Kirkland, Kingston, Genoa. We now have a tornado warning in effect. This is a rhythm from capable of producing a tornado. Not too much rotation, but this is a lot more isolated. Not as much in a big line of storms. So I am watching that one for tornado potential. Take shelter there. Get to your safe spot. Now we have another tornado warning effect up here for Princeton, Hennepin areas with this big time line of storms. It could produce tornado. We got some very, very strong wind gusts out of this thing too. Another tornado warning in Toulon. This is just tornado warning after tornado warning out of this line of storms. My goodness here. Another tornado warning in effect. Not as much rotation with this one. Not as much rotation with much of this, but very strong winds and could produce spin-up tornadoes. Take shelter if you're in any of those red polygons. Jeez. Give me a break. New metal skill discussion. This includes Oklahoma City all the way to Springfield, all the way to St. Louis. That's for heavy rainfall metal skill discussion issued by the Weather Prediction Center, where we could see flash flooding in these areas with training of storms. Springfield, definitely be watching this in the future. You could get some bad weather in the future. I'm watching this. I do have a friend up there that I probably will tell him if the storms get close to him. Beardstown, Mount Sterling, New Canton. We do have 70 miles an hour wind gusts ahead of this thing. Rushville, Beardstown, all under this. Very, very strong wind gusts ahead of this thing. 70 miles an hour wind gusts across this whole line. Maybe even tornado possible if we do see spin-up tornadoes. No tornado warning in effect, but these whole areas, very, very strong winds. Canton, new tornado warning in effect for Canton. This, what I'm noticing, this is that whole area where we do have some straight line winds. With that very, very strong, that bow echo of winds. On the northern side of this, wow, very, very strong winds. This would be heading straight towards my friend. But tornado warning in effect, Canton. This is on the ground, observed actually. Confirmed tornado, they said. I don't think it's on the ground anymore. It's one of those weak spin up. It spins up and then it's gone. But It definitely had that rotation. I could see that was on the ground. It still is rotating, and we do still have a hook here, kink in the line. So if you're in Canton and the north side of Lewistown, take shelter in Illinois. This is just tornado winning after tornado winning, tornado QLCS, tornado winning spam. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a ton of just these spin up tornadoes out of nowhere. Tornado winning, tornado winning, tornado winning, tornado winning. One thing anyone knows, this is what Hall does. He actually has something that has damage pass. The areas of Lena, Illinois, saw significant tornado damage, and this is the tornado damage area from Lena to Orangeville. He has these different areas that got hit by tornadoes. Southern portion of Rochester got hit by a tornado. Montana, Wisconsin, another one. So he kind of confirms these different areas of tornado damage. All right, you guys, one sec. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. We're back, fellow zero viewers. Zero viewers, if you are watching, we have 0 viewers, and we're back. We're back in business. What the heck? Why is my screen lagging so much? What the heck? I don't know what is going on here. Okay, new tour warning, guys. Northern Oklahoma. We are in Bartlettsville, Pasca. We now have a tornado winning effect. Look at that rotation strengthening there. We got some very strong winds. I did mention that tornado potential. Very strong winds. We do have a tighter couple of rotation that could produce tornado in the future. Not on the ground, but we do have a hook, so this could become a tornado. Around in these areas, these red areas, take shelter. Continuing with these storms out in central Missouri. We do this line of storms. We are in Jefferson City. Take shelter now as we have a big storm producing some big time hail over here. And there is some rotation. Look at that. There could actually, we're not in a good radar zone. Jefferson City, terrible radar area right in between the two different radar sites. But there is a lot of rotation. That is concerning on radar. Very concerning. We're very high up in the air. But look at that. That is a really concerning signal of a potential tornado. If you're in Jefferson City, get to your safe spot now. And I mean it. Still strong in effect for Village of Four Seasons and Barnett areas. Oh, tornado warning not in effect for Mason City, Illinois. If you're on Mason City, there is a tornado warning now in effect. This includes Bath, Easton areas. Now under a tornado warning in effect. I think that's contamination, but we do have a tighter coupled rotation with this thing. I am watching that with tornado potential. If you're on Canton, Cuba, take shelter now. 70 miles an hour wind gusts through this line of storms that could get extended to Springfield, Illinois in the future. News for those morning now in effect. If you're in Columbia, Missouri, Jefferson City, Wardsville, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for tornado possible and 70 miles an hour winds. Wow. That is insane. Wowzers. Wow. Crazy. Now, another storm warning in effect. You're on Racine. Racine areas, Kenosha, Sturtevant, Summers. We do have a tornado warning in effect. We do have some very, very strong winds with this thing. 70 miles an hour gusts moving in. The tornado potential is definitely possible. We could get a spin up tornado at part of this line. Not seeing anything too specific for a tornado on the ground, but anything could spin up out of nowhere. We do get a kink in the line here. One second. Beer. All right, we are back, everybody. We're officially back. No one's watching this stream, but it does not matter to me. I've been live for 2 hours. You're on Racine areas in Kenosha. Wow, observed tornado warning getting towards these areas. I don't know where it's observed, where the heck the rotation is, but very strong wind gusts at least coming out of this thing. Southern part of Milwaukee, also under tornado warning, Oak Creek, Greenfield. Take shelter now if you're on those areas. Consistent. I mean, this is a QLCS line if I've ever seen one. The line of storms is strengthened a little bit down here. I will mention that. Definitely on the strengthen over in these areas. News revealed this morning on the southern side. If you're in Tuscumbia, Vienna, Iberia, Wardsville, we are now under severe this morning with 70 miles an hour winds, 60 miles an hour winds, and 1 inch hail with this too on the southern side. This will be approaching St. Louis, Missouri in the future. In futuro. What I like to call it. New metal scale discussion extended through Springfield, Illinois to Chicago. Let's see what this said. A consolidated line of storms will continue to push east-southeast over the next few hours and will continue to pose a risk for severe wind and embedded circulation. Several gusts, very strong wind gusts. Eastern expansion of the watch likely. Could see some isolated embedded tornadoes with that one too. So that's basically what you need to know. Jefferson City, still this tornado warning in effect. We're getting a little bit close to the radar, and the rotation is definitely weakened a bit there near Jefferson City, but we are still watching that supercell and this storm behind it too with tornado potential. Definitely a pretty big line approaching. Look at all these spin-ups. Look at all this. What in the world? Look at these storms, man. Tornado warning after tornado warning. Look at this. We got, oh my God, we've got a tornado on the ground. This is observed. So on the northern side, north of Mason City, if you're on Easton, see this little hook? This is the most textbook thing of an embedded supercell. Or not embedded tornado within a line of storms. So we got this little kink in the line here that we do have. And look at this, pretty tight area of rotation. When it's tight like that, that means tornado. It screams tornado. And look, we've got debris. We have got debris on the radar. Look at that big old debris signature. This hit the city of Popper City. You can see how weak the debris signature is because it's a weak tornado. But look at that, Popper City and Biggs. Look at that. This tornado hit Popper City and Biggs, probably damaged it. That is not good. Still take shelter. This thing could still be on the ground as it's advancing. That's what happens with those tornadoes, man. Dang. Now, if you're up in Petersburg, Virginia, Bluff Springs, the thunderstorm will probably advance towards you in the future. New tornado warning for Manito all the way up to Dillon, Hopedale, and Mackinac. This does include northeastern Mason County and southern Tazewell County in central Illinois. With this tornado warning, with the potential for kinks in the line, I'm seeing more kinks in the line with this area. This area specifically right here has the potential for tornadoes. Look at all those kinks in the line ahead of this thing. Another one up here near Banner, Pekin. Take shelter now. This could impact. Peoria will probably have to get to their safe spot in the future, tornado-wise. Look at that little kink in the line there that could produce a tornado in the future. Lake and Kickapoo, they have a new tornado warning in effect. Take shelter now. Look at this. This is so many tornado warnings, guys. So many tornado warnings. So many of them. Ton. Absolute ton of them. And look at all these kinks in the line with tornado potential. Forest City, tornado potential. Definitely there. Those tornado one on the ground heading towards Easton. Easton, Tehran, potentially in the future. Natrona, San Jose. This includes central Mason County. We do have a tornado on the ground. On the ground. We're on the ground, guys. Naders incoming. Naders. New tornado warning for Waukegan. These storms are really, look at these storms. They're really starting to push into Lake Michigan. Once they push into Lake Michigan, no more threats to land for these areas, but more down here. More down here. South Milwaukee's remainder safe spot tornado warning is still in effect for embedded supercells. Producing tornadoes, same with Racine and Kenosha. Mostly a very strong straight line damaging wind threat. Not seeing too many kinks in the line, but very strong winds up to 70 miles an hour in these areas. So don't be watching that. Waukegan, make sure you are in your safe spot. Potential for a tornado. My stream did one of those weird things. My computer. News for this morning for Woodstock and DeKalb. So many dang storms in these areas, man. So many dang storms. Ottawa, Northville, zero thoughts morning. For Peru, Mendota, and Pawpaw, we do have a tornado warning effect for potential geeks in the line producing tornadoes. Very, very strong wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour ahead of this thing with this line that we do have here, too. Make sure you're paying attention. Look how many tornado warnings we have ahead of this thing. Look at that with this storm here at north of Mesa City. Big old hook with this thing still. This thing's potentially still on the ground. Pretty long-lasting tornado with this one here. 1 second, be right back. We're back, y'all. All y'all, we're back. We're back, Ryan. All y'all. How y'all? How's y'all doing? 70 miles an hour winds now. Athens, Lincoln, Illinois, all those areas. 70 miles an hour wind gusts are now ahead of the squall line. Very, very strong winds. This is a very, very strong storm moving into these regions. One second. One second. What is going on with my capture device? What the heck is going on? What in the world? We're wanting it still observed. This thing is still on the ground, guys. Look at that. Still on the ground. With this running, you really extend this far. Delvon, north of Mason City, Hartsburg. We have a tornado on the ground with this embedded supercell. This thing is still on the ground. It's still got this king line. It's still on the ground. Not showing much signs of letting up, but it could. Things could change in the future. Now for the storm winning, though, dude, in fact, Manitou. If you're on Manitou, take shelter and now. We do have a little bit of hook echo there that could produce a tornado in the future. We are watching that. Peoria is now in a tornado warning. If you're on Peoria, take shelter immediately. A tornado warning is in effect ahead of this huge line of storms have been through. So many storms. My goodness. This was insane. Look, still, we do still have the storm watch in effect for St. Louis, Missouri. We have a line of storms in there that could impact us, these areas in the future. Wow, guys, look at this. This warning, this is really dangerous. I mean, this is absurd right here. We have a supercell ahead of this line of storms. If you're in Fulton, New Bloomfield, north of Jefferson City, Oxvoss, this is a supercell with, look at how strong that rotation. That is a very tight and strong rotation club. But I'm going to be surprised if we have a large tornado on the ground. We're really far from the radar. It doesn't show anything debris-wise, but look how much on the scans this thing's strengthening. I'm really worried. Fulton, take shelter now. If you're on Kingdom City on north of I-70, really take shelter. That could be really dangerous there. Wow, that is really concerning. Dude. Jeez. So those warning still in effect. Stillwater and Perry areas are under this warning. 1 second, my friend that I texted. Messaging my friend that's going to get by these storms. Look at this thing, guys. Tornado warning still in effect near Allen. Look at this. This tornado is still on the ground. This is impacting Allen. If you're in San Jose, take shelter now. Delavan, McLean, this does include. There's a observed tornado located near San Jose or near Mason City, moving east at 60 miles per hour. Very fast moving storms over here, guys. Very fast moving storms that we do have. If we get back to this storm, wow, this has got to be on the ground, dude. Look at how tight, look at how strong that rotation couplet is heading towards Fulton. This is super concerning, guys. Super concerning. Oh my, dude. Look at these areas, South Pekin, Tremont. Take shelter now. Peoria, take shelter. Potential for tornadoes. Very strong winds. I don't know what's going on there, but for some reason I cannot. We're gonna pull up one thing on the radar. Let's see real quick. Oh, they updated the outlook. Keeps us in a slight risk actually, but still a 30% chance of wind damage and a 45 sig up there for wind. And a hail threat, not really, very minimum. But look, they keep that 5% SIG, so this tornado threat's definitely weakened, but we've got this area with a SIG 1. This is for those embedded tornadoes from St. Louis all the way to Chicago, where we could see an isolated chance of strong tornadoes. Let's pinpoint this. So if you're on any of these brown areas, any of these green areas I could see an isolated tornado, but any of these brown areas have the highest threat for a tornado. And this SIG 1, meaning EF2 plus tornadoes possible, from Jefferson City, St. Louis City, Springfield, all the way up to Chicago, where these tornadoes are possible. They show the highest threat for dangerous storms and very strong winds anywhere in these red and pink areas. They're now Y'all Watch issued. That means a tornado threat. So Lincoln, Illinois in the future is issued a Y'all Watch. We do have a rotation go. Oh my gosh, that's a tornado on the ground. Holy beast. So guys, this is an unwarned tornado. If you are in, I am urging this right now. If you are in Lincoln, Middletown, Broadwell, we have a tornado on the ground, and this is unwarned. Look at that tight rotation couplet. We may have just had an we just had an unwarned strong tornado. Not strong, but pretty decent rotation couplet. This thing was on the ground that whole time and wasn't warned. I know, it's hard to tell. These are QLCS tornadoes. Hard to tell. But look at that. There's this. It's really small, but North Middletown Road had a little small debris signature. Very weak though. Very weak spin up. It might have weakened but lifted by now, but I'm very surprised it didn't issue a warning there. Wow. Eek. Tornado warning still in effect up here. You're on Delavan. Looks like that tornado might have lifted by now. There's still a debris signature, so it might have still be on the ground, but we are watching that. Showing a little bit of weakening signs. Peoria, still stay in your safe spot. I need to go back to this warning because this is absolutely insane. Look how tight that rotation is. This thing has to be producing a strong tornado. I'm surprised it's not observed because they have no proof it's on the ground. They don't have any proof. But, jeez, dude. I mean, the supercell's starting to kind of congeal with the line, which would bring that down that tornado threat. But look how strong this rotation couplet is. I mean, it's absurd. I'm gonna click on y'all's stream real quick. We need some info. All right, here. Okay, they issued the warning for that. Literally perfect with Hollyoaks. If you're in Lincoln, Middletown, Broadwell, Beeson, Chestnut, we do have a tornado warning now in effect. Radar indicated it might have been a tornado spin up. I bet this. We've probably had a lot of spin up tornadoes here that just happened. And if you are in Lincoln, take shelter now. Tornado warning in effect. Berea, remain your safe spot. Storms moving through with a NATO potential. South Peak and Tremont. We could see a tornado with this one. Red. There's just so many warnings I can't even count. This is just basically the whole line is tornado warning. This whole red area is just complete tornado warnings everywhere. Pawpaw. What kind of name for a town is that? Pawpaw, Northville is under a tornado warning. Take shelter. Wow. I don't see any way that this isn't producing a big tornado right now. We're so far from the radar and it's in the middle of nowhere, so we can't see much. But this rotation couplet is so strong, dude. It's so strong and it's so consistent with this supercell here. This has to be producing a strong tornado. I wouldn't see how it's not. I mean, my goodness, dude. My goodness. Well, I want to look. I don't care if this is on stream. I'm going to look at all y'all's real quick. So, yes, still that 5% significant chance for tornadoes. We're going to look at X real quick to see if there's any updates from people from their streams. I will say this is really, really crazy features here that could produce tornadoes. Oh my gosh, that is strong heading towards Fulton. Holy. Yeah. Oh yeah, that phone's up 14%. We're back, everybody. Phone's up 14%. Gotta charge it because we're gonna hit some big storms soon. You don't even understand how high tech is, everybody. Back in business, everybody. We're back to this live stream. We're gonna go back to this. We're bringing this up. We're back. We're officially back. We're so back. We're so back. All right, this rotation is strengthening again. We might still have a tornado on the ground, guys. There's still, I can't tell if it's embedded, but there's still kind of a debris signature. This has been the longest lasting embedded supercell. Meteor, Grove, McLean, tornado winning effect. Lincoln, still tornado winning effect. So many dang tornado warnings. If you're on Eureka, El Paso, heading towards the I-39, anywhere in the I-39, Illinois, really bad weather going on. Be careful there. Oh my gosh, that is so strong of a couplet heading towards Fulton. Far away from the radar, but jeez. This has to be a tornado, like a large tornado. I can't see how it isn't. I mean, this is nuts. I need to pull Polyol stream to see if he's mentioning this. If he's got to be talking about this, man.
Shelter. You'll be fine as long as you take shelter. Callaway County, by the way, here in Missouri, Cole and Sage are all under a tornado warning now. Again, we've got that secondary area of rotation coming into Jefferson City, Lawrenceville, Jefferson City. You guys all need to be sheltered right now. Those that go over towards Lynn, Teos, and Chamoy. All right. And that original area of rotation is coming up towards Fulton. My goodness, man, this is crazy. Fulton, Missouri, this thing is still going on here. And we've got an 83% on the tornado ID. That's coming right up into Fulton. Like I said, I'm in my safe place. Good. That's where you need to be. Fulton, Missouri. Literal, very strong tornado signature coming up right into Fulton right now. This could actually be on the ground. We don't have we might have a debris signature. We don't have a very clear debris signature, but we do have a big velocity couplet coming in. So get ready. Take shelter. This tornado warning for Logan, McLean, and Tazewell counties is confirmed. So we do have an official tornado on the ground here coming into the Delavan area, moving towards Bloomington. Also, Peoria, your storm is hitting now. Peoria, your storm is hitting now. We got several areas of rotation coming into the town of Peoria. It's not all rotating. And it's not one tornado that we were worried about. We're worried about a wall of damaging winds with several areas of rotation. So just stay sheltered. The reason I'm not calling out which gas station the tornado is near, because we can't do that with this kind of storm. Okay, it's just everybody in the polygon needs to be sheltered, every single person. And there's nothing else to say about that. Which areas east of Peoria, like Eureka, okay? If you have a camera here watching the storm come in, we'll see what happens as it gets closer. Now let's talk to Andy.
Hey, Brian, we sent out a y'all watch for the Algonquin, Illinois area to Cary, Howard Lake, Lake Zurich, and Wakanda. That area southwest of Lake County, Illinois, southeast of Erie County, which may receive a tornado warning because we've got a rotation there from 2 different radars. And a little bit of a jelly forward and a rotation on the backside, so I could see this morning tornado warning. Not 100% sure he'll get one, but y'all should watch out there. If you're in those areas, the northwest of Chicago area, definitely watch out in southwestern Lake County, Illinois.
Algonquin, there's no warning here. There's no tornado warning, but we might need one here soon. Somebody says any sightings? No, not today. Not today. Not yet. You're not cooked. No cooking here. Nobody's cooked, but getting hit by that area of rotation right now. So we've been talking about Fulton all day. Hopefully we got the word out there and people took shelter, because this might be a place where we actually have a tornado happening right now. So Fulton might be taking a hit from a tornado right now. Somebody said they're in the basement, literally right in the path there. Somebody said it's getting crazy. Big time tornado signature, just not seem like a huge deep debris signature, but I mean it's a debris signature, so something has happened here. We're going to listen to this.
God, Ryan Hollio's talking about it. I'm really concerned. If you're in Fulton, take shelter now. This could be a direct hit by a big tornado. It's so far from the radar, so it's hard to tell, but man.
To Illinois, McLean, Tazewell, and Woodford counties are now under that tornado warning. This includes Eureka, this includes Hudson, and almost over there to Lexington. So this is
Metal discussion now in effect for my area. We're gonna look at this now. So you have a metal scale discussion now in effect. Let's look at this. It's not popping up on Twitter yet, but we're probably gonna see it. Let's go to SPC. Still not on there. Probably going to be updated. But big metal scale discussion for much of the St. Louis metropolitan area, all the way up to Springfield in the future. Look at this. The severe threat for Tornado Watch 131 continues. An organized cluster of storms may be maintained across northwestern portions of greater St. Louis through 9 to 11 p.m. With a continued risk for damaging winds gusts and a potential for a brief tornado or two. A sustained cluster of thunderstorms has been increasingly organized on the east of the Missouri Ozarks in the past few hours. An associated evolving bow echo structure appears that the apex of the bow echo structure has accelerated east-northeastward in excess of 50 knots. If this motion is maintained, it is on track to surge across the northwestern portions of greater St. Louis through 02 to 03Z, which is around 10 to 11 p.m. This still appears to be perhaps just ahead of the leading edge of the surface cold front, the Columbia and Sedalia vicinities. The boundary layer has undergone warming and drying across the St. Louis area, with the temperature/dew point at Lambert is 81.57. However, its thermodynamic profile still appears sufficiently unstable to maintain convection, with potential to produce damaging wind gusts. The risk for tornadoes is more unclear, but the environment might still be conducive immediately north of the front. With that thing. 5 to 80 miles an hour wind gusts. With that is concerning. They didn't even add the tornado potential to it. It's possible. I don't know why there's no tornado added to it, but winds 65 to 80 miles an hour. Potential highest probable peak potential. That is pretty concerning there. Pretty concerning. If you're on Lynn or Main, your safe spot, remain yourself safe spot in Fulton. That rotation is still pretty strong. And I'm just very concerned that a tornado could have hit Fulton. I mean, it's probably weakened by now, but my goodness. Hall, y'all. Back to Hall, y'all. Let's see what he's mentioning with Fulton. Back to Hall, y'all. Back to Hall, y'all. Back to Hall, y'all. Back, Mr. Ryan, how y'all? Mr. Ryan, how y'all? What's up, y'all? Remember, St. Louis is in that tornado potential, 5% significant tornado threat. Wow, still super strong rotation there. Oh, Andy Hills on his stream. Andy Hills on a tornado warning. So many tornado warnings out of this. Bloomington, Eureka, Minier, Lincoln, all under these tornado warnings in effect.
Tornado warning for McLean, Tazewell, and the Woodford counties shelter. And with Andy for things, the Bloomington, Illinois area, so he's got to take shelter. He might lose power. We might not hear from him again tonight. We're going to listen to the scanners. A tornado warning down here in Missouri. A new tornado warning has been issued. So the new tornado warning down here in Callaway and Montgomery.
So, new tornado warning an extension for that storm that was over Fulton. So, if you're in Montgomery City, Martinsville, take shelter now. That rotation has gotten a lot broader and weaker, so I bet it's lifted, but it could re-strengthen again. This almost looks like a metal skill. Like, this looks like an MCV almost. This is really crazy. Incredibly dangerous storm perspective polygon. Look how many dang tornado warnings we have up here. If you're in Pontiac, Bloomington, El Paso, Normal, Illinois, take shelter now. You do have a tornado warning. My goodness.
Some slack, give me some grace.
This is a huge day, guys. I mean, just crazy line of storms in Illinois here, which is, this is literally just QLCS spam. Tornado warnings across the whole line. Jeez, it's re-strengthening again. If you're in Montgomery City, New Florence, I-70, you need to get to your safe spot now. You need to get to the basement. Jeez, dude. This is a nasty looking storm. Nasty looking storm. I definitely see why this is such a huge. So the reason there's so many dang QOCS tornado warnings that we're seeing right now in these areas. Look at this, guys. We've got a ton of instability. There's a lot more instability up there, obviously, but not just that. Let's go to these significant parameters. They're very high up north up here. Very, very high. They're a lot higher up there that we'd have. Right just north of St. Louis, a lot higher significant parameters. Look at the violent tornado parameter. Yeah, a lot higher up there in north. So yeah. Yep. That's what we're watching. I'm still watching these storms near my area in the future. Very, very dangerous storms that we are still watching. God, that is such a strong rotation. There's got to be a very strong tornado here heading towards Williamsburg. I can't even tell you there's not. Like, this is absurd there. It's a supercell literally that developed ahead of the line. That's instant tornado potential. It's so strong, too. It is so strong. Montgomery City, get to your safe spot now. We're up to 390 subscribers from this stream. Wow. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I definitely appreciate the support. 12 likes. Wow, a lot of likes on this stream today. Thanks, everybody. See. Oh, wow. We got. See, how many views did we get? No, like 43 views. Okay. Not bad, but a lot of likes. Not a dislike. Wow. Someone did dislike. Wow, that is such a strong couplet. Jeez. Jeez is the right word to say with that one. Huge supercell. We're still under a tornado watch in this area. Tornadoes are possible. In St. Louis. I'm from St. Louis, so it's what we're going to be keeping track of the most of the night. want to use it. All right, we're back, guys. Give me a moment. Riffs. Low-key, this has been just a funny, silly stream because guess what? There's no one watching my stream. I've been live for nearly 3 hours. Because the storms are heading for me, why would I not be live? Because everyone's just watching the haul, y'all, you know? Who watches that guy? Hey, you're on the stream, buddy. You can't be cussing. Yeah. Man, I'm in a middle skill. I'm gonna try and watch middle skill session. Yeah, it's QLCS. No, don't even look at the storm near Montgomery City, bro. The rotation's like glitched out on it, but it is. It's a QLCS line of storms, but basically this event's been nuts tornado warning wise. We had those supercells produce the big tornado that we had, and now it's just like a line of storms producing like spam QLCS tornadoes. Yeah. What? Yeah. Yeah, it's in my way. I forgot I don't even have Discord yet. No, I have Discord, but I don't even have you added yet. You're gonna add a friend. You can add a friend. What's your name again? What's your name? Chris? You there? Dog's muted. Dude is not even talking. Just don't speak, I guess. Yeah. Can't tell if you're muted or you're not talking. You're muted, buddy. Now I can hear you now. Oh, you're good. Yep, that's me. Alright. Now what's your Discord, buddy? Low key, we don't even need Discord. They can probably hear you through the stream. Yeah. Guys, new tornado warning in effect. South of Bloomington, Leroy, Bloomington. This whole area from Bloomington all the way up to Ottawa is all under tornado warnings. It's just straight tornado warnings because QLCS tornadoes can happen. They spin up really quick and then they lift. So they just tornado warn the whole line. Oh, I'm on NATO, Aaron. Yeah, it's all good. Trying to see. Wow, these are some big old stones. Big stones. I'm watching the storms head in my direction. Not too strong at the moment. Do have some Cubs rotation. I wouldn't be surprised if we get additional tornado warnings soon. Montgomery City, more interesting storm with the supercell there heading towards Wellsville and Montgomery City. Take shelter. Tornado warning there. I have a little bit of backside rotation here near Chamoy. These always get crazy viewers. One thing I will say is there's a tornado possible on the Herman, Warrenton, New Haven storm warning. What? Wait, oh, you're talking about my Discord? Oh. Oops. I have it. It's NATO Aaron WX. It's alright. I've never even. I'd have to add you. I never even like. Um. Yeah. Tornado warning continues for Chamoy right now as we do have an area of rotation here on the back side of this line that I am watching. So this line of storms. Yep. Atmosphere. What? Oh yeah, I'm not using it right now. I don't really need it. Yeah, to be honest, I don't even really need it in my streams that much. Well, it looks good too, but I'm just noticing a little bit of rotation that could get warned in the future. This is definitely a line of storms that could easily get warned for tornadoes. For me. Yeah. Dude, my sister was driving in Chesterfield today, like north of me, and she got hit by hail, bro. When I got out of school, it was storming like crazy, bro. And there was like lightning. I could see lightning strikes touching the ground when I was getting to the car. They're not really weakening. They're just kind of like consistently staying the same the whole time. We'll see if it's probably just going to consistently stay like that. That's the whole point. I mean, it's decaying as the night goes on. This always happens with these storms. I never get tornado warnings from supercells, bro. It's always these QLCS storms that give me tornado warnings. They just spam tornado warnings here, bro. Yeah. Yeah, it's been like that. It's complete. It's contaminated right now for some reason, but there's rotation. It was so strong earlier. There had to be a tornado that hit Fulton. There was nothing on radar that showed it because it was far away from the radar, but there had to be a tornado. I'm noticing a little bit of kinks in the line near Gasconade. There could be a tornado warning issued in the future. Oh, it's not going to be much because this is through the night, and we're just relying on a decaying line. There won't be instability because it's nighttime. Yeah. Yeah. Ah, nice. Yeah. Well, wise. It's wise. Wise enough to be in the weather. Probably 0. Yeah. 0.
Oh my goodness, he has 100,000 people watching. How much subscribers he had like only 10,000.
Yeah. That's like more people watching a stream than you see for Twitch streamers, bro. Yeah. Torn winning continues for Wellsville and Montgomery City. Take shelter. Where? Where? Oh. Mm-hmm. South the Kenny. And there it is. It's hard to tell, but it's there. We're on the ground heading towards Monticello. Roy. Yeah, we could have a trainer on the ground too. North of Roy, south of Bloomington. It's looking like contamination. If it's a CC, it's contamination, but there's a rotation and a hook. Yep. Rotation strengthener, Montgomery City. All right, Chris, I'm probably gonna get in the shower before the storms come. So I'm gonna have to dip. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end the stream now just because it's getting a little later. Yeah. It's just fun to watch this stream with the viewers. All right, so all right, see ya. Okay. Okay.